And I will always glove you. Because I'm the glove salesman.
That is true. That is true. That's the new identity.
Yep.
Yep.
I was the Bumblebee Man.
You are the Bumblebee Man.
I'm all of them.
It's not like discontinued.
Oh, no. It's just like...
You're just getting roles, dude.
Jack, here's how we're writing it. I develop these multiple personalities, right? But over the course of the series, a new one pops up with a new agenda.
Yeah.
Not a power.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. I don't have powers.
Right.
We're in the real world now.
Okay.
You know, comes up with a new agenda.
Yeah.
One of them is delivering pizzas.
Okay. The pizza guy.
Another one is selling gloves.
Oh, yeah, the glove man.
Another one is reviewing movies on a podcast.
Oh, Christ.
Another one is just straight up Spider-Man. Except with 8 limbs, all made from different men.
Ah, gotcha.
Frankenspider. There he is.
Frankenspider,
That's his
sure.
name. That's the other one. That's the other name.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
You really would.
What's up? What's happening?
Don't mind the booze and the balloons on the video podcast. It's because we're recording the same day as episode 100 of DMT. Don't miss this podcast. Check that out. We made it this far, homie. We've made it so far. We've gone so far with, realizing that we needed to split the podcast into 2 podcasts.
Yes, took
And
us
here
a minute. Took us a minute to figure it out.
Here we are with the spinoff.
Yeah.
The Frasier to Cheers.
That's right. The Fear the Walking Dead to The Walking Dead.
Yeah, the Joey to Friends.
Yes.
Except much more successful. Except Frasier. Frasier went for on as long as Cheers. 13 seasons a pop.
Yeah,
Now
DMT reviews is going to be more popular than DMT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a laurel you can really rest on as a showrunner, producer, writer, is that I wrote Cheers.
Yeah.
And then I decided to introduce this wacky guy, Frasier Crane, right? Dr. Frasier Crane, he's a radio personality. He's like Dr. Drew, basically, before Dr. Drew was a thing.
Sure.
And then, how about we just give him his own show? Boom! 26 years total?
Yep.
You just kick your legs up in a hammock and
That's
just
what we call a career.
we got this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure if Robert Kirkman feels the same way about The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, but it definitely feels that way, that he actually can have this sent off into what we're reviewing today. Season 1 of Invincible.
It's the first non-Marvel review in months.
In months.
Yeah.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
Speaking of.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
But it's still about superheroes.
100%. We're not letting up. Superheroes will never leave our blood. They are in our freaking DNA, man.
We are heroes, dude.
I mean, yeah. Except, like I sent you the other day, I saw that freaking advertisement on Instagram for Jupiter Ascending on Netflix. Their Netflix original series with Josh Duhamel, Leslie Bibb, and a few other people I can't remember. But I saw that and I'm just like, everyone's trying to. It's the West. It's the Western genre in the 50s. It's gonna get so fucking bloated that I don't even know if Ecstasy of Gold is gonna see the light of day now. Where I'm trying to blend the two because they both are similar. Steven Spielberg said this long before Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola were like, it's not cinema. Spielberg, I think this was like even before Phase 2 of Marvel being like, superhero movies are like the Old West. You know, it was a huge, massive, popular fucking, minus the fucking, he's Spielberg.
Of course.
A massive genre, cultural phenomenon that just expanded, that died.
Yeah.
So I guess it's on us now, Jack.
Yeah.
We want to get a piece of it.
Yeah.
We want a piece of it.
We have to kill it.
But how? Well, what do we contribute that's going to be the next pop?
Well, I mean, the movie that inevitably kills superhero movies, right? I feel like that's kind of the fate you've set up. You know, we got to either make the superhero movie to end all superhero movies, or we need to make something so bad that people never want to watch the Avengers again.
I don't know. Thunder Force really tried. Actually, no. New Mutants and Fantastic Four really tried. They could have killed the genre.
Yeah.
I watched New Mutants last night, and Jack, the accents alone
Well,
made it hilarious. hilarious.
And I definitely need to watch it. I definitely
It's
need
only
to,
an hour and a half.
Yeah, I definitely, your recommendation is all I need. I need to get on it. I need to watch Mortal Kombat. I got a lot of work to do over the next couple days.
You'll enjoy Mortal Kombat, and you will enjoy New Mutants more than you enjoy Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
I will
wow.
guarantee that. Doesn't make it good.
Yeah,
all.
no. Dark Phoenix. I'm shocked because I thought this might be X-Men at its lowest, but it's good to know that we've already crossed that path.
It's X-Men at its lowest because it wasn't allowed to be made properly. It went
sure.
through 5 different delays in 2 studios before Disney was just like, it's got a beginning, middle, and end.
Man.
Let's just put it out there.
I feel like the difference between Westerns and superhero movies is the time. In the 1950s, film had really just been discovered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Film had really just kind of come to fruition. A lot of Westerns are based on samurai films, Again, it's a copy of a
Samurai
copy of a
and Kung
copy.
Fu, yeah.
Exactly. And so there's a vibe to it. And not saying that Western films are easy to make. I've never made a Western film. I would assume it's incredibly difficult. And some of my favorite films of all time are Western films.
No, Jack, what it is, you go and you read an Akira Kurosawa script, and then you just cross out his name, put yours, and then just rename all the characters.
And instead of katanas, put guns. Perfect.
I mean, they did that with Romeo plus Juliet. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
When Leo whipped out that gun and Baz Luhrmann zoomed in on it and it says like Excalibur or some shit.
Yeah.
Excalibur .44.
See, that's a bad idea. Don't do something like that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not inspired. That's a disaster. But no, see the thing.
Yeah, let's set Romeo and Juliet in Venice Beach, not Venice, Italy.
Basically.
Yep.
Oh, Hollywood people.
Hollywood people.
But yeah, no, I mean, so a Western in the 1950s was a practical thing to shoot. You could never shoot a superhero movie in the 1950s that didn't look absolutely. You had Captain America with a motorcycle helmet. You know
had
what I mean?
Batman and Superman serials.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you had back then.
Exactly. And they were sweeping the nation. I mean,
it was literally George Reeve, like, pushing down a wall that you could already see the saw blades cut through.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just like, I'm Superman. Look how easily I went through that.
Look how strong I am.
Pre-cut wall.
Versus, you get to be with human beings in the West pulling guns on each other. Like, you get invested in that, right? Now we can do that with superhero movies. But what I think the difference between a Western and a superhero movie is like, I think there's only so many stories you can tell through a Western where you're just checking the generic characters, right? That's where Django's a really cool movie where it's completely different characters than you've ever seen.
And it's in a time period where the West wasn't even a concept.
Yeah.
It was just 1860s during fucking antebellum slavery and all that stuff. So,
I mean, that's more Southern than Western,
Yeah.
And so, like, with the superhero show, I mean, what we're seeing in shows like Invincible and stuff is that, one, you can kind of copy the generic Justice League now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
One, you can just kind of do that and not have to, like, worry about all the powers and stuff like that. But, I mean, very creative show, very original. But, like,
There's
doesn't
always
matter.
A little bit of derivative.
Exactly.
You know, you can't create the new version of the Avengers because it's like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did that. And I don't know who created Justice Society or Justice League, which one of those came first. But, it was still congruent at the time with Marvel and the competition directly. And then, so you get Image Comics, Vertigo, what's the other one I'm trying to think of? Dark Horse.
Sure.
And so their competitor, like independent comic studios, but publishing houses. And how do you beat Disney and Warner Brothers?
Right, exactly.
You go to Amazon. Where they can give you total autonomy.
And you can do whatever you want. You can create something really, really, like, astounding. And that's the thing where, like, a Western, right? We know there's the Western world and there's the superhero world, right? And the Western world relies on being grounded. And the thing is, when it's grounded, you can only do so much. Like, I would almost, even say, The Big Lebowski's kind of a Western. You know what I mean? What is a Western? It could be so simple or it could be so complex, but, like, it had to become complex because it was getting pretty simple, right?
It was a road trip movie or a siege movie.
Exactly.
That's basically what it got split down into.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you want to just, have me nerd out a little bit about the Man with No Name trilogy, Clint Eastwood's, rocket into superstardom started with Fistful of Dollars, and it was based off Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa. And basically what that story is a samurai rolls into town, And by meeting the townspeople, understands that this town is in a power struggle between two feuding families. And then he decides to play off of each other and, manipulate each other so that he can, gain. And then it ends up blowing up in his face. And then he goes, you know what? Fuck it. Kill it. Because one of the one that found him out ends up wiping out the other family. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to wipe all you guys out. So I need to sit down and actually watch Yojimbo to see how that's played out in samurai style, but that's how it goes. Few dollars more. I can't quite remember if that was based off anything, but it's definitely the weaker of the three. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Ultimate road trip movie. Best movie of all time in Sammy B's opinion. It's not my favorite movie of all time because when I think about what's my favorite movie, it's a movie I want to watch on a loop almost.
Right.
Tropic Thunder, Avengers Infinity War, Ragnarok.
Movie that gives you comfort.
Yes. So you think about it that way. But I mean, as far as like technical, doesn't feel like something that came out in 1965. Story-wise, character development-wise, it is the most masculine movie with, unfortunately, a woman does get beat, but it is super masculine in the sense that it's like Manifest Destiny.
Right.
I mean, Manifest Destiny, as horrible now looking back as a concept that it was, where it's like, God gave us this land. How much more gung-ho could you be just being like, we are going to San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
We will die. Generations of people will rotate out while we get there.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It's just a big dick fucking through the country.
That's been about the past 500 years. That's been our priority, yeah.
And then it just comes all the way down to the showdown, which is iconic beyond belief.
Yeah.
But there's nothing remarkable about those characters. It's just that the story is gone.
Yeah.
It's unfolding with these guys, and you could take that to any of these time movies. Superhero movies, it's super important about who the characters are.
Yeah, that ends up being basically everything because then, and I think that it's a symbol of where film has gone and where film is going because, back then, we're talking early film. I was also thinking, too, like, not that the cowboy era had just happened, but it kind of had just happened, like, within the past 100 years. The Civil War wasn't even 100 years old at that point, So, like, it kind of wasn't, a comfort in the past, something where it's like, oh, this is what it was. But meanwhile, America's exploding post World War II, where we're building, we're creating, the country that we are now. Well, that happened so quickly. And now we're in the midst of it, but we're like really in a completely different era. The past 50 years compared to the 50 years before that are uncomparable, right? Yeah. And superheroes were created in an era where before the massive amounts of change, but they have evolved with the massive amounts of change, right? So they have kind of always been a vehicle to symbolize. This is why I call them modern day mythology. I think superheroes are, and this is where I think there's a difference between superheroes and Westerns. And again, it's tough for like Steven Spielberg or Scorsese to be like, oh yeah, Superman is a mythological character to me because they're filmmakers. They live based on having creative and prestigious ideas, right? And like superheroes are on cereal boxes. They're not.
That point actually kind of dawns on me because it's like, well, think about it, it's modern mythology, and mythology, it came from Western civilization,
right?
Whether it was Africa, Greece, Norway, England, whatever.
Yeah.
Western civilization. Asia definitely has its own mythology and all that stuff. But these Westerns adapted Asian stories about legends or samurais, something about the,
the story is very Western and the spirituality is very Eastern. Yeah. It's interesting. It's very, it's cool to see because I think like we're saying, the changes from story-based telling to character-based telling, I think it kind of is a mixture of the two because no longer can it just be a generic character on a basic storyline unless that is the point. The point, like No Country for Old Men, right? But actually, Shigur is unbelievably all those characters are really complex, so it's a bad example.
Yeah, but it is still focused on the what, not the whom.
But and so much about the character is told through, exactly what is happening and how they react.
I guess with that, that, you know, kind of clicks into me why people think that like the early, at least phase 1 into phase 2 Marvel villains were kind of weak, is because those movies weren't necessarily about the what, it was about the whom.
Yep.
You know, it's not about Whiplash and what impact and depth Whiplash has, you know, Anton Vanko and all that shit. Anton Vanko. Gotta say it like fucking Sam Jackson. Anton Vanko. Anton Vanko. All that stuff, it was just about developing Tony and developing Steve and Thor and Banner even. You know, it was about the whom.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
which is kind of hilarious because it is a worldwide threat that they're always up against.
Right.
But it's so intimate.
Yeah, their story. And that's where I really think we can see, now I might be getting a little meta with it, but fuck it, let's go there. Eastern and Western culture finally finding some sort of a middle ground, which is
Godzilla versus Kong.
Exactly. You read my mind. No, I was thinking, you know, you've got the story, right? You've got the cyclical, you know, right, beginning, middle, end, you know, trying to get a point across, right, which is Western. You got the character, the being, the worth in life, you know what I mean? The journey that you're going through yourself, which is not cyclical. It's ever flowing. It's ever changing. And that's the beauty of a superhero character, is if you do them right and you care about the character and then just allow the world to happen around them, then they can continue to go through that story. They can go places that you could, like what we watched in Invincible today. You could never, ever see that in a Western outside of, like, you know, maybe one really intense scene. You know what I mean? Like what we watched today and what we got, you know, basically not told, the story that was laid out before us can only be told through superhero storytelling, and it's great storytelling. If you're afraid to go there, if you're afraid to see the value in that, you know, it's your own problem. But yeah.
Well, and when you say that, what we saw in Invincible today, so we, you know, for everybody who knows, we're allegedly reviewing it this first season. But the fact that we had an entire season banked into it means that we can explode into this bigger, broader conversation about everything, storytelling wise. And what you said just there is, you know, the blending of Eastern and Western culture is that this is a wildly intimate story and massive world shattering, city leveling fucking things.
Universal.
And you feel intimate with those stakes.
Yeah.
So that's something that both Marvel and DC have done a poor job of, is, you know, really getting us into what it's like, even for, like, you know, Superman. All of a sudden, a building's falling down. He catches it, puts it right back. You know, it's not like Superman is in the situation like Invincible was, where he catches it, looks into the apartment right in front of him, and sees a mother and her daughter, and tries to save them and can't. And then it's just like, on a normal mind, a human mind.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking weight and torture is that on the psyche?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why I think superhero, I don't get me wrong, I love me a good superhero movie, but I think the best format for it is television and animation, because
Me too, because it's always been long form.
And you can't have that moment. That moment just might be too much for people in a PG-13, you know, Marvel or DC movie. You know,
for sure.
like people, they think they want to see that until they see it. Versus this, it's like, okay, you know what you're getting into with Invincible, and now this is a very appropriate moment for a superhero to be faced with a situation like this. You know, save 2 lives, building falling down.
Well, even the old woman earlier in the season when all those aliens were attacking.
Yeah, exactly.
And
being raised as a human, what comes with that, you know?
Right.
And being raised as a human with these level of powers, you know?
Well, and also, I mean, so we're you know, we haven't spoiled anything yet, but we're into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
I know we keep forgetting to preface every single one of these, but this is the whole DMT reviews.
Yeah. If
format.
you listen often,
if you
and you're
haven't
shocked that we're spoiling
understood that we gut these things down to the core, then yeah,
you're a fool.
You're a fool.
We love you for watching, but you're a fool.
But watching it today, watching this final episode with all these characters just like culminating, and Mark getting his ass handed to him by Omni-Man and all this shit, it's just sort of crazy to think of like all these working pieces. But the thing that stuck out to me more was Omni-Man pleading to Mark, just being like, you don't understand. You're going to live for thousands of years. Everything you know now is fleeting. It's going to die and all that stuff. And even though he's wearing those goofy goggles, you could tell in Mark's soul that he's like, I didn't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I don't want to see that. I don't want that.
Yeah, you can't use me to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like that's.
I didn't want to even know or find out that I was going to lose everybody that I love right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you? That's not. I said it several times when we were watching it. Everything Omni-Man said, while true, the worst salesman,
Horrible.
the worst sales pitch.
Yeah.
He is so bad at pitching it. He's like, can't you see once I run your entire face through this train and turn everybody into hamburger meat? Can't you see? It's super easy.
Yeah.
Come on. God.
They suck, you know?
You know, I raised you like a human. Why can't you think like a Viltrumite?
Yeah, exactly. Like
his frustration is entirely upon himself.
He's like, this is the first time I'm telling you the truth. And it's like, why would you expect that to be any better? Like, why would that, again, like you said, why would that be your sales pitch? Why? Okay, now I'm telling you the truth. Let's do this thing. Yeah, no.
Well, you can influence the kid from the beginning, just being like, fuck these people. You know,
exactly.
You're half Viltrumite. You may or may not get powers, but you're still half Viltrumite. Feel smug. Don't think you're a human. Detached from everybody.
Sure.
And then he could have raised the son that he wanted in that moment when everything came to a head, because he decided to just out of nowhere murder people because his son hucked a trash bag 5 miles. You know, like he goes, okay, time to commit mass murder, not cover my tracks well enough, and then get frustrated that I'm getting found out.
Right. I mean, yeah. We'll see. One thing I love about this show for sure is how true and accurate they stay to the power they give these characters.
Yes,
because it's hard for any movie, any show, to stay true to that, because eventually, because you kind of want to set up your bad guys are stronger than your good guys, so that when your good guys defeat the bad guys, you know, it's a bigger deal. But like, if you do that, you inherently have to like depower the bad guy at some point. It's kind of got to be a lucky break.
Yeah, it's got to be some sort of like, you know, man in the chair thing where they thought some outside the box harebrained
clever
thing.
Yeah, this
you gotta
show
be more
not
clever than strong.
Not even a little bit.
No.
No. This Omni-Man is as powerful as he is. Invincible is as powerful as he is. You know, Battle Beast is as powerful as he is. Like,
that's the name of the guy.
That's the
Battle
name,
Beast.
Battle
okay.
Beast.
The lion guy from episode 4.
Yeah, with the mace. Yeah, he's a big deal, I guess. Maybe not a big deal, but he's a deal.
He's a big deal.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be back.
The big deal, but a big deal.
He's definitely going to be back. Yeah, I mean, okay, so reviewing this episode, I was going to ask, do you want, so what, you know, because I can't remember.
Do we want to start from the beginning?
I can't remember everything that happened from 1 through 8.
I just recently, well, I was fucked up, but at the same time, last Saturday, after the UFC fights, Colin threw on Invincible, and I ran almost all the way up through last week's episode.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit fresher.
Because I was going to say, like, we could just go 1 through 8, and I can just speak to what I really enjoyed about each one, you know, and...
episode 1.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's do it, because, I mean... That's how we break down the episodes. We go from beginning to end. Well, we have a whole season, so let's go 1. Bam.
Yeah.
Episode 1. You get Mark figuring out that he has powers.
Right.
Omni-Man's been doing his stuff, and it's just a lot of fun and games.
World setup.
World setup, character setup.
But even then, you don't really meet. You meet the most important characters, obviously, but you don't even meet the true like side characters in that episode. Yeah,
it's the first 20 minutes of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Sure, yeah,
where he's like, "Oh, I'm the nerd. I'm getting beat up by the bully. Oh, the hot girl." And then he finds out that he has powers, and then he's trying to get a grip on it, makes his homemade suit and all that stuff. And you just watch this stuff, and not a single part of me was sitting there being like, seen it before. Because, yes, I have seen it before, but none of it was being, like, jaded, being like, oh, another one of these ones. Because I know the power of Robert Kirkman. Mm-hmm. I have rallied against the power of Walking Dead since the end of season 3, and it is still damn going. We were just talking about Fear the Walking Dead, the spin-off show. 7 seasons. 7 seasons. 7. I haven't seen a one.
Nah.
One episode. Especially... they started that show, and then they brought Morgan back into the regular Walking Dead, and I'm like,
what are we doing?
What are we doing? That's besides the
Apparently,
point.
they still don't even know.
No. Like, they killed Rick off to do spin-off, like, trilogy movies for HBO. What's coming to that? You know? Is AMC merging with HBO? What's AMC doing?
Coming June 2018.
Girl.
I don't know why I said 2018.
Sounded like you said Goro.
Goro fights Rick from The Walking
Speaking of surprisingly disappointing fight in Mortal Kombat, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But set up for a sequel.
Yeah.
That movie is an aggressive first 2 episodes of a season. That's how I'll front load it with you. And how we were talking about it the other day. The storyline from the Paul Anderson one in 95, pretty solid towards the game's accuracy. This one, execution-wise, way better than the Paul Anderson one.
Sure.
Story-wise, I don't know. And I don't know how to feel about it because Dave Callahan, who wrote it, we know him from Expendables. We know him from various action stuff like that. And then he makes this. But he's also writing Shang-Chi. So how can he make this one, which is like really pulling muscles with how many stretches they take?
Right.
And then you're going to be making a Marvel movie, which is guaranteed to be good.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Fikes, you know, and Kevin we trust.
I'm going to jinx it right here, right now. If Shang-Chi sucks, it's my fault.
Uh-oh.
I'll take the blame off of Dave Callahan right now because I will refuse to jinx this movie.
This one's on Sam. If Shang-Chi sucks.
No, it's all Dave Callahan's fault. If it sucks, it's him. It's him, and he just needs to be ousted from Hollywood.
He needs to stop making movies.
Stop making movies. Stop having the opportunity to get his words out on paper. But back to Invincible. I can't even remember what point I was trying to fucking make.
We were talking about Robert Kirkman, Power Robert Kirkman.
Power of Robert Kirkman. So that was the thing. Preacher comes out. I love Preacher. I will go and fucking twist anybody's arm until they watch Preacher.
Yeah.
Before anybody can make any conclusion, before the pitch is literally the show. A preacher in Texas who's lost faith in God is possessed by the power of Genesis, which is the unholy spawn of an angel and a demon. And it gives him the power of the voice of God. Violence and fun ensues.
Yeah.
And Seth and Evan created that show. I watched all 4 seasons. It was fucking remarkable. And then I saw they were doing The Boys, and I was like, all right, let's see what The Boys is about. It's the same author as Preacher. And then I saw they were signing up for Invincible to produce this too, and I was like, especially after the description where it seemed like just saying it was Robert Kirkman's work, I added a tone to the synopsis that shouldn't have been there. The synopsis is a teenage boy discovers that he has superpowers, a teenage boy who's the son of the strongest superhero on the planet discovers his own powers. How I read that is, a teenage boy whose father is the strongest superhero discovers he has powers. 12 seasons that no one asked for. I mean, I have my own disdain with The Walking Dead.
Sure.
But this, I've not had a single ounce of regret.
Nope.
So episode 1, we get into it, and Mark discovers his powers, and he tells his dad, who's not thrilled. He's like, okay, I guess I gotta do what I gotta do with the mid-credit scene.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, that was his reaction. It was like, oh, I have to murder some people sooner than I thought.
I guess it's time. Let's go do the thing.
Shit, I gotta follow through.
Sure. Yeah. It's, one thing I noticed about that episode is for sure, obviously the big one is how most of the episode is very, very clean, very not wholesome. Like, I think there's still some swearing. It's still clearly an adult show, but like the fighting
still had kid gloves.
Yeah, the fighting is not overly violent. It's very punch 'em up,
Yeah, because he initially fights Mahershala Ali, who has that rock.
Right. And you have the first scene
armor.
with the Guardians of the Globe fighting the clone guys. And, like, it's really tame. It's cool. It's a great fight.
It feels like a Marvel movie.
Exactly. It feels like a Marvel movie. And so then Yeah,
Not even that. No, it feels like a Marvel cartoon movie, or no, actually one of the DC.
Yeah,
animated
I was gonna
movies.
say that, and that's what really.
Where it's like business as usual. There's
Yeah.
a threat on the White House. We gotta save them.
And that's
you know,
the thing.
But we're so good at doing that because we're the Guardians of the Globe.
Right.
You know, there was
That-
a lot of optimism. The whole tone
Yeah.
was so optimistic. What I didn't like was that opening sequence with those 2 White House security guys talking so deeply about
You mean
the guy.
John Hamm?
Was that John Hamm?
That was John Hamm.
The whole fucking table. You gotta be shitting me.
That's John Hamm.
Because
yeah.
it was good acting and super melodramatic, but I was just like, this is not going to have any bearing on the rest of the season.
Sure.
What's being laid out in this dialogue scene. I guess now it does have a little bit of a parallel to it, a reverse parallel, because of the way he's describing it, that he has this difficult team that he's brought in and he's just dealt through all that shit. I mean, having just rewatched this is starting to be like, oh yeah. Themes.
Yeah,
Themes were laid
it's
out.
almost like writers wrote this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Writers like thought about it. Now I'm picking it up. Because when I first watched it, I'm like, this is so heavy-handed.
Yeah,
I have no idea what the point is. The point is that John Hamm is the reverse Omni-Man.
Yeah.
If Mark had him as a dad, who knows what would happen.
Qui-Gon Jinn, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting, yeah, and like going back to kind of what you were saying with, you know, it's like a cartoon. It's like, yeah, that's definitely, and this is the advantage of something, especially an animated show, is there's already you don't really have any origin stories in the animated world. So what's cool about animated superhero things is you can just jump right in the middle and like have that world, right? And The Boys is doing this as well. The Boys was just like, let's spend the money to make it live action. But either way, you're playing in an arena with so many rules that are already set, but you're telling brand new stories in a new, fresh perspective, you know?
And so far, The Boys has not gotten grand scale.
Yeah, no.
It's still, any of the action and violence and stuff still seems intimate with the team versus the 7.
Yeah, because it's all based on that, on the, you know, what's the serum? What's the something 8 or whatever? Compound V. Yeah. It's all, you know, Compound V is not an alien thing they found. Like, this is all real. What's cool about this show is basically we're like, it's like Marvel and DC, but like its own thing. So just like go with it. And people are just like, okay.
I think we need to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop
Oh, yeah, I agree.
labeling it like that, where it's like, well,
I think
I
it
see the little
hurts.
bit of DC, I see the little bit of Marvel, I see this and that and the other
I
thing.
think it hurts the project, Marvel and DC
The
when we
artist.
do that. Yeah, and
it
the
hurts,
artist.
It hurts all of it. I
Mhm.
think we just have to keep. It's just the problem is Marvel
Just
and DC
eat the
are
food that's
so-
given to
Yeah,
you, you know?
But they've just like, you can go to Taco Bell, you can go to Del Taco, but if you go to Taco Celine,
Mhm.
shout out, can you sponsor us, guys? Down the street, you're just like, oh, well,
It's an
I guess this
entirely
is
different meal.
I guess this is a different take on tacos.
Yeah.
It's derivative, like it's all driven and from you know, the basic
I'll
ingredient.
still eat a shit ton of Taco Bell.
Skeleton.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's built from the basic like instructions and skeleton, but it's done in a different way that you're just like, I really enjoy these tacos.
Right.
And I don't dislike those other ones, but those other ones are so in my fucking face all the time that I can't fucking you know, focus on
Yeah.
these other
My taste buds
taco
are jaded,
places,
you know?
you know?
Yeah.
So it's a similar thing. So as much as we'd love to, as much as we
Eat
love
tacos and watch superhero movies.
yes,
It's a good way to live
it
life.
really is.
It's made me really
that's
happy.
that's my dream now, Jack.
Yeah.
Just eat tacos, watch superhero movies. But if we constantly, I mean, we love Marvel and DC,
Mhm.
but we can't let that overshadow that we're just down with the genre
Precisely.
of superhero stuff. So we can't just be like, well, obviously Omni-Man is like, even he's
Yeah.
like, you know, Homelander. He's Superman. Da, 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 da. Yeah, everything's going to be derivative of everything. It's just the execution. We've
Yeah.
been talking about this the whole past week. The execution of
Yeah.
stuff is the wildly most important part.
It's the only thing that matters, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, poor execution of Superman, 100%, I think that if it was Henry Cavill toe-to-toe with Homelander's walking home with Henry's head in his hand.
I think
you
so.
know?
I think so.
And now I'm like, okay, well, I mean, under the same banner, Amazon Studios,
Mm-hmm.
who wins in a fight, Jack? Omni-Man or Homelander?
Omni-Man or Homelander? Omni-Man, for sure.
Really?
Oh, and Omni-Man rips him in half. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Omni-Man don't got lasers, though.
Omni-Man doesn't have lasers, but, like, Omni-Man is smart. Homelander is emotional. And we just saw that emotion gets
and Omni-Man,
fucked up
Omni-Man is smug.
and smug. And
Omni-Man has total confidence.
Yeah.
Homelander couldn't be more insecure.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Omni-Man would just fly around
Save
the lasers
yourself
and
the
then pull
time,
his head
Death
off.
Battle. Don't even fucking bother with the episode, Death Battle. We got you covered
You
on
know
DMT.
the answer. Yeah, come on. Watch the fucking show. It's obvious. Like, come on.
Or I thought I was gonna pitch you a head scratcher. You're like, duh.
No,
the adult or the child? Who's gonna
Omni-Man
win?
could kill anybody, anytime. I'm fully convinced he is the most powerful superhero I might have ever seen on screen. Yeah.
Oh, you mean super villain?
Well, you never know, because, he didn't leave on, like, a bad note.
And this is what
he left
I
on a
was-
bad note, but on a bad
Before we
note.
even watched the episode, this is what I was telling you about. I accidentally spoiled this episode for myself. Of course, the week before it comes out. The week before it comes out, I spoils it. Why? Because
Marvel.Prime.
Yeah. No, not even that.
I know, but
not even that.
Still,
Still,
2 weeks in a row.
I Marvel.primed myself. And so, I mean, I watched the Variant Comics episode, The Origin of Invincible, which if you're listening to this episode this far, it doesn't even matter. Go watch it. Eris Quinones is awesome.
Yeah.
But
Eris Quinones.
Or is it Quinones? I don't know.
Eris Quinones.
It's vicious. It's different. Don't worry about it.
I'm waiting.
I don't even have the fucking soundboard up. Come on.
It's going to happen.
You taught me to swipe.
Give me a break.
There we go. But no, so it was spoiled to me that Viltrumites are actually not there to be benevolent aliens. They are there to conquer. Similar to Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z, except the Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z, I kind of find... Shaking the camera around. Winston, get your bone and get out of here, buddy. I'm going to edit that out. So Saiyans, instead of conquering planets just because they're trying to create a utopic universe, Saiyans conquer planets to sell to other planets. To sell to other empires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they got wiped out by Frieza. And now Goku is basically the last son of, or actually Goku and Vegeta are the last Saiyans out there. And it's like really cool. You go watch Dragon Ball Z and you're like, oh, okay, so this is sort of like an Asian take on superheroes, but mostly Kung Fu related and, martial arts related. This is actually a really cool take. Then I watched this one, and as I was starting to piece together to me, after I spoiled it for myself, or before I spoiled it for myself, I'm like, you know what? I feel like Omni-Man's here to conquer. He's here to be like the sliding under guy thing.
Right.
Which is a lot better strategy than what Super Saiyans do, or just Saiyans. They're not super yet. Was that they drop off their kids Krypton style and then expect those kids to look at a full moon, turn into a giant gorilla, and just wipe out the population of that planet so they can sell that planet to someone else.
I mean, that's a solid plan.
I mean, it's not a bad plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a bad plan. It's a whole lot less emotional ties to people.
Sure.
It was just fortunate for planet Earth that Goku got picked up by a very loving grandpa.
Yes, of
you
course.
know? So in this scenario, it's like Omni-Man came in with like the whole fucking motive and all that stuff, and then he just kind of got, charmed by the humanity of everything. I mean, that
think
scene.
he did.
Well, in that video, yeah. But in that video, I was telling you about in Origins of Invincible, the scene plays out that the Immortal shows up, screams in front of Mark to Omni-Man, starts beating the shit out of him. They're not fighting the kaiju at the time. He just starts beating the shit out. You murdered the Guardians, blah, 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 blah. Just like yelling at Omni-Man, but it just was an exposition dump to Mark, basically.
Right.
And Omni-Man kills the Immortal, and then Mark's just like, what the fuck? And then Omni-Man reveals that he had no love for his mother, no love for him. If you're on my side or not, are you a Viltrumite? I'm doing a pretty good J.K. Simmons impression, aren't I? I keep just diving into it.
Yeah.
The J.K. Simmons impression. He does that and then proceeds to beat the shit out of him into an inch of his life and then bails for a reason I can't remember from that video. But this one decided to be like, it's not that I don't love you.
Yeah.
It's that I love, or your mom.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like my pet. In the same way where it's like, hey man, nobody gets a pet being like, well, this is my next 12 years.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my next 15 years,
and then,
optimistically.
And then we're just going to move on after that, Like, it's,
And we'll get another one.
Yeah.
And then we'll get another one, and then we'll get another one. We just outlive them.
This character makes total sense to me.
Mark, we outlive them.
That's the thing is, like, in stories like Superman, we're banking on the idea that Superman is not fully aware of his origin. He doesn't fully connect with that, and he fully connects with us. Great. But what about the entire planet of Krypton? What if they came down here? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, that'd be different, and there's probably been comic interpretations of that, but that's what this show's doing a great job of, is saying, what if it was never a matter of he never got comfortable on Earth? He came here for a specific reason, you know what I mean? And nice times, all this stuff, but
that's something that never even got brought up. Like, he was supposed to infiltrate and get people on his side. Like, he didn't have to marry Debbie and have Mark. He didn't have to procreate the species. That wasn't, at least in the way he laid it out on the episode, that wasn't part of his objectives.
Right.
To create another Viltrumite on Earth, to be like, the lost son of Krypton, like Jor-El wanted, to unite the people, to make it easier to conquer everybody.
Right.
I think that might have been his later plan once he fell in love with Debbie. Like, if he doesn't fall in love with Debbie, he's a soulless, evil character.
Yeah.
So that's how it was presented to me. Yeah. That was how it was presented to me, how the comics originally were supposed to go, where he was literally that, just evil. And the way the show evolved it, I mean, watch Preacher, watch The Boys, read the comics, you'll see that the show has evolved it to be more engaging than the comics were, because we've talked about this before. We talked about it with like radio plays like we just did with Gary. We talked about this with graphic novels. You can have free freaking goddamn control over it, and you can just leave stuff out that probably would have helped, or put stuff in that doesn't need to be there, and yada yada yada. But when you can put the adaptation in a good adaptive writer like Sam Catlin, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg, they can just be like, here's how you add even further depth. Here's how you make those characters even more engaging.
Yeah.
So I really like that they have that, and I really think that Omni-Man is going to be wildly conflicted in season 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he leaves crying,
Yeah.
He leaves in tears, and we don't see him again after that. So like, yeah, this is definitely going to be a very interesting trajectory for that character, because he spends so much time in this last episode basically confirming, like, I'll do anything for Viltrum, like anything I will do for them, and he does it by the end. He is torn by that human memory of just a kid playing baseball, and it's fun and it's nice and it's good, and it's again everything that we talk about on here. It's just like, chill, have fun, laugh. That's really what it's about, and that really, I mean, that saves Mark's life in the episode, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see how he does that, because his whole thing is basically like when the ship, the planes, the jets fire all the rockets at him, and he's like, look at what they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power. He feels so pitiful towards people and stuff like that. He even says it's okay to pity them, but to prioritize them or whatever. But in that moment, was that the moment that can start that? Because now maybe that's the path they go down. Maybe he kind of goes good, and maybe he goes different. Like,
they might divert him totally.
Yeah, most Game of Thrones got super diverted as it got going, and it didn't suffer. I mean, by the end it suffered, but for the most part, as the seasons went on, the show got better and better and better. And I think there is a difference between graphic novel writing and television writing. And I think what's happening is we're getting really good at combining those two things. So we'll see. I mean, I obviously don't know anything about the Invincible comics, so I don't know if Omni-Man becomes good or stays bad or does
I don't
whatever.
either. I refuse to watch anymore.
Yeah, no,
When I fucking spoiled the episode right before watching the episode.
Yep. I want this to be 100% a surprise. I want to see what comes next with all of this. And again, if he goes good, then you've got the path of, okay, now he is, because clearly we're setting up that Voltron, we got to stop Voltron. You know what I mean? These guys are the real problem. What if someone who believes and was so part of it turns on them and fights with his son and fights with all these other heroes and stuff like that? Shit. I mean, what an interesting, now, a lot of the interesting emotional arc goes from Mark to Omni-Man, where he is right now really the driver of it. He can become that as well.
Well, yeah, because Mark never really was conflicted. It was so fucking focused on him and, his John Hughes high school experience at Reginald Vell Johnson High School.
Hey,
shout out Carl Winslow. Didn't pick up on that until this episode. Hell yeah. But no, his whole thing, like, it was a grounded, intimate, like, oh, I'm trying to, I'm a high school kid. It's Spider-Man. Yeah. You're watching Spider-Man basically again. And then it just blows up where it's like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's dad was evil Kryptonian. Right. His dad was General Zod. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. Dude, have you seen Brightburn yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, talk about poor execution of this kind of concept. Where it's like, it's basically, and he was sent to Earth, and his parents find him.
It stunk.
It did.
Yeah.
Because it was badly executed. So badly executed.
Right.
And what happened was, so Crash, it's literally identical to Superman's origin story. It's just with Elizabeth Banks and David, not Harbour, from Roy from The Office.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Uh-huh.
But the kid doesn't start turning bad until he starts hearing from his ship in the bar. It's literally Superman. It's just if the Kryptonians put a little message in their ship to tell Superman to conquer Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how it unfolds from that. It's like, well, what if Superman was told to conquer Earth?
Right.
And then he does it as a kid.
Yeah.
And he does creepy shit. He does the worst shit. He puts his fucking, he puts Badger's face through a steering wheel. Just carves out his entire face with a steering wheel. Nice. I mean, it's got parts. It's that you're just like, oof. Melts his dad's face and then drops his mom out of the sky and then happens to see a plane and then crashes it onto their farm and just be like, whoa, I survived.
Yeah.
It's so fucking reckless, neck jerky, fucking wha-pa-pa-pa-pa. This is a better execution.
Yeah, well, because this
of the concept of somebody sent to Earth to be...
And you want to talk about execution? I mean, like, look at that. You got a kid who just, gets a message. He wants to destroy Earth. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how much.
I liked him better when he was playing Ant-Man.
Oh, sure.
In Avengers Endgame when he came out of the time machine.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Because that's the same kid. The same kid.
Marvel was like...
And I think he got that gig because James Gunn was like, I'm the executive producer on this movie. Can you put this kid in here so that we can have a little bit of free press for my brother's shitty movie that he wrote?
Sean Gunn wrote?
No, it's not Sean Gunn. It's a different gun.
Other gun.
The other gun.
But yeah.
So we got two guns and another gun.
The difference with Invincible is that you're not dealing with a kid. You're not dealing with Superman trying to take over the world. You're dealing with a family who has this unprecedented situation that they have to deal with. But guess what? I mean, basically anything you go through with your family is an unprecedented situation to your family. You know what I mean? Whether you have superpowers or not, or whether you are, just going through fucking a shitty road trip or something like that. What's great is that this is rooted in the father-son dynamic. This is rooted in a high school story. It's real, but it is a superhero thing, and you can totally believe it and buy in to that's the thing. If you don't have to even struggle to buy into a character's motivation, like if Omni-Man can just be like, yeah, everything I told you was a lie, and that's the twist, like that is kind of a simple twist, but it's a brilliant twist. It works great because it makes sense to the characters. And if you want to talk about story, to the setup from, speaking of episode 1, all fun and campy, and then that post-credit scene, he kills all the Guardians in the most violent way you could possibly imagine,
Even just recently rewatching it, I'm like, that is so fucked. up because all of those people only wanted to do good.
Yeah.
All of those people have just saved people.
They-
And Omni-Man saved people as a
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Just
It's
to
I'm
make
just
it seem like he
jerking off
wasn't,
the
yeah.
people, making them think I like them. Meanwhile, I have big plans.
Big plans. Yeah, you guys are gonna know me big time. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, because it's not hard. It's simple. It's easy, but it's beautiful and it works. And what it's doing, like say Robot, for example, is another great character of being like, okay, not really that complex of a story when we get down to it. A lot of it is just intrigue for episode on episode on episode. But then when it comes down to it, it's a love story, right? And it's a fun little love story. It's kind of cute how it plays out. And then you have this weird thing where he clones himself and becomes a kid and is basically a different character now. But like it works because you get it. You understand, you're bought into the character, what they're doing, and the story has set it up where you're already asking questions. So no matter what the answer is, so long as it's not fake,
when he was
it
first
works.
introduced as that little fucking fetus in the tank, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What kind of sinister shit is going on? And then you get through his entire evolution, basically, with... I need to look up who those guys are. What are the name of the twins?
I can't remember.
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
But
The Run the Jewels guys.
yeah, the dudes who every step they take, it's a Run the Jewels song.
That's my dream.
All right, let's tangent real quick. We had 4
Yeah.
Run the Jewels songs. 4 RTJ songs in season 1 alone.
Yep.
And Jack and I have been sitting here for so long being like, Run the Jewels, and people being like, who? It's like, you've heard Run the Jewels. If you go, and they're like, oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Nobody speak, nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I get you. And you're like, yeah, but do you though? Do you though?
No, they don't.
And
They
so
don't get
we've heard them in, they did the original song for Baby Driver
Yep, they
and
did.
Venom.
They did good
And then
amount
they
of
put
Silicon
that-
Valley. you
Yeah.
know?
And then, that one too. And then, but that song from Baby Driver ended up in Invincible.
Yep.
Chase Me.
I can't.
Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, exactly. We
Run
out
the
of here,
Jewels.
baby. That song and just so many other songs that I'm just like, I think Seth and Evan were just like, whoa, we've really left Run the Jewels off the table.
Yeah.
We gotta put them all
gotta
in here.
quadruple
We
down
gotta
on
make
this.
up for it 4 times.
Hey,
so
Listen, this is how I know Run the Jewels is the shit. Is Anthony Jeselnik gets Greg Rosenthal Run the Jewels merch for his toddlers.
his children.
Yeah, I mean his 6 and 4-year-old or whatever.
That blew me away, and I'm like, at least Anthony knows.
Yeah,
that's
Anthony
how I
gets it.
felt.
And that means, you know what? I'm like, all right. Yeah, Anthony's got good taste. He likes Run the Jewels. We got good taste.
Yes.
Run the Jewels.
Now, Jack, did you Mahler twins?
Mahler
They're
twins.
the Mahlers.
No.
That's who they are. So in that first episode, at the end of it, he wipes out the entire Gardens of the Globe. It
Yeah.
is the most earth-shattering scene I've
Unbelievably
seen
violent.
in a while.
Mhm.
Where, like, I mean, I've alluded to it in several times over the past few episodes of both podcasts that it made me feel fucking sick
Yeah.
for a couple of days, just being like, why?
Mhm.
Why? And I found out the why right before I found out the why in the show. Like, I was really disciplined about not rooting for myself. And I'm like, I'll watch the origin of Invincible. I just watched that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, into on me, man. Nope. Wow. Fool. Fucking cool. But that was just such a, like,
Yeah.
like imagine the Avengers trusting somebody and then just getting wiped out. You know?
Yeah, like it's like Doctor Strange just comes in and kills all of them. You know what I mean?
Why are you doing this? Fist through the face, use you as a body shield. That was probably my most upset. The one that stuck with me the most was like him taking Nightwing or whatever the fuck, the Batman one, Darkwing.
Yeah.
Smashing his head all over the floor, throwing it at the Green Girl, and her just being like, oh my God, looking up, and her fist goes right through her fucking head.
Right.
And then he uses it as a shield. I'm like,
no, I mean, what happened was literally like Omni-Man texted the Guardians of the Globe, was like, yo, guys, let's chill. Let's hang out. And they were like, oh, cool. We do this all the time.
pizza party?
Pizza party, question mark. Everyone gets there. Where's Omni-Man? He sent the text. And then
Where's
he comes,
the pizza?
And then he comes running in with an axe and just starts fucking chopping all his friends up. And you're like, whoa, what am I supposed to do? You know?
so we know your plans for your next birthday. Yeah, that visual just pumped in my head where it's like you got my group and our group and then your group of friends all together, and we're just like, hey, it's so good to see you. I mean, like, where is Jack though? We're all gathered for him, and then all of a sudden my head just goes flying off, hits the wall, and everyone looks over, and then just you with a battle axe just going like, let's go!
Happy birthday to me!
And then you just butcher everybody. You know, and you've got bodybuilders against you, and you just wear them down.
Dude,
and then you end up in the hospital the next day, and you're just like, oh, fuck.
Oh, ribs.
Oh, God, that's so painful. What happened? Everyone's dead, and you go, fuck, now I have to make new friends to torture. Shit!
Why'd I do it all in one fell swoop?
God damn it, why'd I do that? I blew my load way too quick. Premature murder.
And let's not forget, when we get to watch the scene, it also is prefaced by, various lengths of introductions to each of the Guardians, because we don't really know them,
Yeah, it was almost like a mini episode of the Justice League,
Yeah.
where the Justice League gets brutally murdered.
Yeah, it was like the pilot of the Justice League, where you go, you meet all the characters, you figure out kind of what they have going on in their personal lives, they get called to a mission, and then they get killed on that mission. Like, slaughtered. Yeah.
And one thing that jumped out to me was, like, I texted you after I said, I was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, yeah, and then think about the order in which he killed everybody. And I'm like,
so smart.
oh my God, because the Flash
Because
in
he
the
could just
Justice
save
League,
everyone.
yeah, well, and the Flash in the Justice League is the hands down most powerful character because he's ruined and reconstructed timelines multiple times.
Right.
So he's the one, like, rival to Superman in the sense that Superman can't run back in time, regardless of the 1978 movie where he spins the Earth backwards. Yeah. And that just reverses time. Regardless of that, Superman has his match met with the Flash. The Flash, honestly, is the most powerful, but it's a specific power. That's the thing. So it's not like he's omnipotent.
Sure.
So we're drinking. We're drinking. But so he had to kill the Flash first, obviously. And honestly, he did the most damage to him, with the internal organs and stuff, with how fast he was punching him, burned his suit away.
That was
at the end of this
yeah.
episode, we see, or at least midpoint of this episode, Omni-Man takes off, flies through the fucking atmosphere so fast that the blood on his costume burns off, but the costume remains intact. That means that Red Rush was the fucking
strongest,
biggest guy he had to take down.
Yeah.
Took him down immediately.
Easy. And then who's next? He gets the Batman guy, but that guy's just kind of easy.
Yeah, but it was because of his strategic mind. He was going to, like, try and orchestrate stuff like Batman does, where he's like, your powers would be best used here, like, go in this order and all that stuff.
He got Invisible Woman who could have pulled him under the ground and maybe at least stopped him for a second.
Right through her face. Use that to block Fishman.
Fishman, who is, again, Aqua people.
He's Aquaman.
You never know their powers.
Yeah, he's Aquaman as just if it was a fish that became a man,
exactly.
rather than a man who became more of a fish.
Again, very, very easy to kill. He kind of got Batman, Invisible Woman, and Fishman done in one swing.
Yep.
And then who do you have left?
The Immortal,
and the lady,
the Martian, and
the Martian.
Wonder Woman.
Yep, and of course the Martian just kept attacking him and tying him up, and so he popped him.
Yeah, it was just that little bubble, and that was like the least climactic of all the murders. He just goes crunch.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm free.
I mean, it makes sense.
Now
yeah.
I'm ready to fight the last two because he punched the shit out of. I can't even remember her name, but it was
Wonder Woman lady.
Yeah, Wonder Woman lady. Grabbed her mace and then just decapitated the fish guy with one swing.
That's right, yeah.
With a blunt object, decapitated the guy.
Yep.
And then Immortal came in, and then it was down to those two.
Yep. And then
brutal.
Yep, a little, kind of Batman's, because I guess the Immortal is, to me, he's like also Batman, like the Batman guy is, but he's like superpowered.
He's Shazam.
He's the number 2 of the Justice League.
He was Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of his own thing. But him and
he's not done.
No.
He wasn't done when he died in the first episode. He's not done when he died in the 7th episode.
Yeah, because Omni-Man beats the fuck out of those two, kills them, and then goes down, goes hospital. End of episode 1.
End of episode 1.
What the fuck happened?
Yep.
Yeah, and then
episode 2.
Episode 2. back to
all
Mark.
the Mark-centric stuff really seemed like fun and games.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like you got Hellboy, the Damien Darkblood coming through doing the
when's he
investigations.
coming back? Yeah.
I know, right? Why did Cecil do that?
Cecil's a fickle bitch.
You know what? I think Cecil did it because he's like, you're gonna blow the cover by being too good of a detective. We know he killed the Guardians. We know.
We get it, dude.
Stop pressing the matter.
Yeah.
Stop pressing the matter. So I bet he's gonna come back in season 2.
Episode 2 is about getting him involved, meeting the teen team,
The teen
meeting
team. Yep.
Who else? We met Adam Eve, who's part of Teen Team, obviously.
They had a long, drawn out Zack Snyder-esque funeral scene.
Yep. Oh yeah.
For the Guardians.
For the Guardians. Yep. Now the thing, okay, let's just for this episode, you know, because again, it's relatively simple. It's Mark getting his powers, Mark taking on this alien army, doing all these things, Omni-Man recovering, and people starting to figure out what happened to the Guardians of the Globe. What I want to talk about with this episode is the Teen Team. Okay, Teen Team doesn't seem to have that great of superpowers.
No.
Okay, they really don't seem like if Omni-Man comes back, they're fucked. They're done. Yeah, not a chance.
Well, and the fact that they're called up to be the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
the whole team. Well, I mean, we could even tie episode 3 in there, where episode 3 basically is about the formation of the team, and then Amber and Mark. So we can kind of talk about these two
because
together.
the news of the Guardians dying was held until the end of episode 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Was it? I see. I
think that's
remember,
how it went, where it was like, yeah, Mark's a superhero now. He's got his new costume from Mark Hamill, and just sort of just testing it out. He gets introduced to the teen team. They do their first little deal with the aliens. The aliens were episode 2. The aliens that were like not on our time stream, same page.
He meets Seth Rogen in episode 2
Meets
as well.
Seth Rogen. Hey, I'm an alien. My name's Alan.
I'm an alien that talks telepathically.
Yeah, and I'm at the wrong planet. Whoops.
Alan the alien.
Whoopsies.
I don't know if I spoiled anything for myself necessarily, but I found a picture that's Invincible with Omni-Man and Battle Beast and Alan the alien and like 2 other people like in a spaceship. And I'm like, what could this... And they look like they're not fighting. They're all just like talking and hanging out. And I'm like,
well, then Robot must have totally eclipsed the evil. I don't know, because I feel like he's definitely going to be a villain.
yeah.
He's going to kill Rexplode.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Gotta.
Yeah.
I just
Who, Robot?
feel like Rexplode's going to die. Like, once he took the blood sample out of his neck, I'm like, he's planning on killing him and replacing him with something. I thought it was like...
Himself.
Well, I didn't think it was that. I thought he was going to, like, clone and program his own Guardians of the Globe.
Interesting.
I thought he was truly a robot.
Yeah.
And then they showed the little fetus thing at the end of episode 2, and you're just like, okay. Okay. Where's this leading? What's his deal? And so far his deal is pretty benevolent.
Yeah. It just seems to be for him to be happy.
Yeah.
Is what it seems
to
like.
live a normal, operable human life.
It's a hard thing to do.
It was such a weird scene after his clone wakes up after that really hard salvage of the mental transfer that the Mahler twins did. For him to just be like feeling for the other one, the fetus one, where he's like, yeah, we have the cloned mind right now. You know this was the plan. You don't want me to be alive.
Yeah.
I want to die.
Please let me go.
Like, this was part of the plan. Don't be sad at all.
Yeah. Fucking Rudy, dude. Fucking
Rudy. Rudy of all the names.
Fucking A. Yeah, I don't know about the Teen Team, dude. I like the Teen Team. Don't get me wrong. AKA Guardians of the Globe now. We should call them by their real name.
Yeah.
Because who we got? We got Robot, who seems to be able to do a very minimal amount of things. We have Adam Eve, who's not technically on the Guardians of the Globe, but seems to be pretty powerful, can bend reality. We have Rexplode, who really seems like the least powerful of all of them. All he does is throw bombs. That's all he does.
Well, and also he has like glowing fire fist. That's it. That's
right.
really it, though. But he hasn't demonstrated them.
He
in
seems
any
very
sort of,
vulnerable. Yes.
Well, he just seems so wrapped up in I don't know what.
Yeah.
That he can't just do his thing like he should.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's ego completely in the
Seems
way.
to be, yeah.
It seems to be. And I mean, why
I've
not
known
hire
a lot
Jason
of people
Mantzoukas
like
to
Rex
play?
Splode, yeah.
Why not hire Jason Mantzoukas to play the most egomaniacal, least self-aware person of all time?
It's perfect. It's beautiful and it's amazing. And also, Gillian Jacobs plays Adam Eve. Zachary Quinto plays Robot. Ross Marquand plays the future Rudy later in the show. I mean, this cast is fucking stacked.
You were telling me about Ross Marquand recently. Who did he play?
He plays Rudy for sure. Who's the?
But I mean, in
Walking Dead.
In Walking Dead,
Yeah,
yes.
he's in Walking Dead. He plays Aaron. Yeah, I think it's Aaron.
Well, then I don't
It's
care.
been so long.
You
Yeah.
know, I never even got to Eugene.
Yeah,
that's
no.
where I tapped out.
Yeah,
I don't
you
even know who
definitely-
Eugene is.
Definitely didn't get to Aaron.
Other than
You'd
a
hate
fat
Eugene.
mullet scientist.
The fact that
question
Eugene
mark.
has survived 5 or 6 more seasons than Abraham has is shocking. Anyway, then we've got, who else have we got on that team? We got Duplicate, Duplicate. She definitely fucks some shit
Monster
up.
Girl.
And then we have the new members of the Guardians of the Globe, which are Monster Girl, Samson, and what's the
Shrinky Girl.
Yeah,
I can't remember her fucking
She has
name.
like no lines.
No.
I'm like, why is she on
That's
the team?
why I don't know her name. You know?
Yeah, no, and it's it's a fine team. It's a fun set of superpowers. You've got the Hulk and Monster Girl. You've got the Iron Man and Robot. You've got the Ant-Man and the Shrinky Lady. You've got all of the players. It's basically like the Justice League turned into the Avengers, basically. But or they basically hired the Avengers to replace the Justice League. It's exciting. It's cool. Again, obviously, the whole thing with them is they're not really a team. You know, they're the teen team. They're the Teen Titans. Like,
Yeah, and
they don't have any sort of discipline or work. Work
Still
ethic together.
teenagers.
Exactly. Very, very impulsive. Like you said, Rex is kind of the perfect one. Very selfish. The whole thing with him and Adam Eve in episode 3 is that he cheats on her with Duplicate. And again, we've also got this whole thing setting up with Mark, where he's got this girl Amber who there's this
Zazie Bates,
who
has the best IMDb picture of all.
by far. I was gonna say Lizzie Olsen. We're gonna get married, but Zazie, if you want, I'm single for a
Hey,
little
you
while
shut
longer.
your mouth. You can't have everybody, Jack.
Yeah, I
You
can't.
can't have
Yeah, I
everybody. What are you gonna have, a harem?
I mean,
a Hollywood harem?
That'd be pretty cool. I think we'd all get along.
Okay.
I think the thing with
Jack Weinstein.
Listen, okay, here's the thing with the harem. It's all about how you approach it, right? If you're creepy and weird and like, this is a forced thing, nobody wants to be a part of that at all.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If it's like a fun guru or enlightening ourselves, you can get away with that for like 10 years.
Yeah. You can call yourself Osho.
That's right.
And then the other one is might as well just be a fucking total sociopath and just dehumanize people.
Exactly.
And start a cult.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We're going to get there when we get there. I got to get that celebrities, first. But so yeah, we got Amber and we got Mark.
I hear
doing their thing.
Allison Mack's available.
Oh, she. But then we've also got this thing with Adam, Eve, and Mark. Like obviously it's Amber all the way, but Adam, he again, spoiler alert, when they break up eventually for a minute, him and Amber, he definitely is pretty quick to go see Adam Eve and be like, "What's up? How you doing?" Huh? Because she's dating Rex when he joins the team, so they can't date. So what's the future implications of that? Okay, are we gonna have Amber and Adam Eve going at each other's throats? Okay, I don't want that. I want both.
You know
these
what I
characters.
like? You know what I like? What Adam Eve actually did.
Huh?
She became the guardian of the
Yeah.
freaking woods.
Literally, yeah. She became the guardian of the globe, the specific globe that we live on.
The chipmunks, the squirrels, and all that. So, episode 3, Mark's is fucking off on Mars and failing uphill.
Big time.
Super hard.
Yeah, he's
He
not
let
ready.
all those people get captured and then discover that the Martians have an entire virus against them. That's why they went underground. And
Digimon Hansu plays one of the Martians.
yeah, really? I didn't know that.
The main one.
I
yeah.
should have guessed.
I heard the voice and I was like, "Is that Korath the Pursuer?" That's
Yeah,
Korath the
it's
Pursuer.
Korath the Pursuer. Korath the Pursuer.
Korath the Pursuer. Him the Butt Crusher.
Yeah, he's
Comes
the Butt Crusher, and he's also
It's the new Avengers.
he was one of the kings in Aquaman.
The Ass Avengers.
The Ass Avengers. And he was also the original Wizard Shazam. Dude's been making the rounds in the superhero world. Jimon Hasu has a bright future ahead of him. Like, because he took Korath because he was like, I want my son to have me in a superhero movie. Just do a movie for him.
Yeah.
And then he gets cast as the old Shazam. And then he gets cast as the blue Fish King in Aquaman that gets killed by, I keep wanting to say Patrick Wilson. I keep wanting to call him Patrick Wilson or, who's the other one? Can't remember. Still similar name.
Sure.
But he's just making the rounds.
Yeah.
Making the rounds. He even got a recurring role coming back in Captain Marvel.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
So
Good for
that's
him.
hilarious that he's in Invincible too.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, the Martians, that whole thing played out. It was pretty procedural in the same way that I felt like episode 5 was.
Again, there's clearly something coming from it. I feel like half of this season was to set up things that will happen in the future seasons. I feel like the Martian thing,
but
the Titan
not
thing.
an aggressive sort of like,
No,
this is a plan that's going to pay off. It's like, this is an event that's happening.
This is part of Mark's journey, but it will come back.
Yeah, and it really wasn't made fully apparent until that final little like quick cut montage at the end of episode 8 that we just watched.
Yeah, I totally think that was a setup.
Butler twins are coming back. The Martian problem is coming back. And
the Beast.
The Beast,
yeah, and Titan. Yep, they're all going to be back.
Yep.
They're all going to be back,
Yep.
yeah.
It's going to be, and then obviously, Rudy, I just feel like is sitting in wait for a shoot a drop that he's going to be a big villain and a big problem because he is all up in the guts of these teams.
Sure.
You know, in socially. So I think maybe it's going to happen that Monster Girl is going to break up with him. You know, something's going to go bad, and he's going to be like, how about I, just delete everybody?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be pretty crazy, dude. He could do it.
He could do it. What was episode 4 then?
Episode 4 was...
It was a lot of Mark and Amber.
Yeah, a lot of Mark and Amber.
They go that, did they go
with the relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, they, him not showing up.
Oh, no, never mind. I'm remembering episode 7.
Yeah.
He fucks off to go talk to Eve and all that stuff.
Right.
But episode 5 was the college one, right?
Episode 5 was Titan. That was where he teams up with Titan, and that's my favorite episode of the season.
That's his name, Mahershala Ali's character. Yeah, so
I love that episode.
That episode was so goddamn well done.
That episode's got a 9.4 on IMDb.
Does it?
Yeah. The only other two that are better are the finale and the episode before, which I agree are phenomenal.
And the weakest ones are the ones I said were the weakest ones.
The ones that we can't remember.
Yeah, the ones that were just like, yeah, I think that happened.
Yeah.
4 and 6.
Yeah. I know, and 6 is the college. I know 5, so basically, you've got Mark, coming into his own, and then you've got this character, Titan, who can basically, he's this giant human being who can turn his body into pretty much not impenetrable stone, but pretty fucking strong stone.
Stone that seems to be able to
withstand bullets for a good amount.
Yeah, it just chips itself off, and then he can regenerate it.
Yeah. And one of my favorite moments of the whole show happens there. When he's talking to his daughter.
Episode 4 was mostly the Titans, right? Or, the teen team becoming Guardians.
I think it was the guys busting out and, like, getting their lab set up.
Yeah.
I think, it was a lot of side character stuff, and Mark and Amber was the real focus, which is great stuff. It's really good for the characters and stuff, but, like, superheroes, come on.
I don't mind hardcore relationship stuff between superhero characters and their significant other mortals, basically, the Pepper and Tonys and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it fits in. So
and if it's believable,
Yeah. So, like Marvel, they sidelined it, but in an appropriate way where Pepper showed up where Pepper needed to show up. All right. Peggy showed up at the very end.
Peggy meant so much more.
Exactly. Both of them did. That's why they had to sideline Jane Foster, because they were like, what more is this applying to Thor's evolution? All right. How about we
Mary
just
Jane
do Thor's?
Isn't even technically in the first, she is, but like she's not Mary Jane.
She's not the focus.
Yeah.
It's Vulture's daughter.
You don't even know it's MJ. Yeah.
And so, it's put in where it's supposed to be, but those movies are all movies.
Right.
In a series. So
well, and this was the perfect time.
Having it be like this, where it's like, we take an episode. To focus on
right
that.
In the middle, right after it happens.
Focus on that, and then we move on from that. You get to that, rather than being like The Flash, where increasingly it's more and more about the relationship until the last season.
Right.
Where you're just like, how the fuck hasn't Barry noticed that that's not Iris? That's not Iris. It's not Iris. And I don't know where they are at in this new season, but I swear to God, if by episode 2, Iris isn't out of that mirror by the time I decide to get caught up, I'm going to lose it. Because why fucking shift the entire show to be about the relationship and then be like, oh, let's go to Crisis on Infinite Earth, sideline the relationship, and make it even harder to get back to the gravity of the show.
This is a call to action. Yeah.
Call to action. If Flash, you want to get to season 8 and actually do it well, fucking god damn it, do it well.
Yeah, seriously. Do it like episode 5 of Invincible.
Yes.
Where you have this guy, Titan, with his daughter, talking. And then, again, one of my favorite moments in the show. I don't know.
It's a better executed version of Sandman and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't remember what happens, but like basically they notice Invincible in the sky and point him out, and he's carrying this elephant human hybrid by the trunk. And it made me laugh. I watched that 4 or 5 times. And then, because it's Amazon and I hit pause, I found out the Titan was Mahershala Ali, which is, well, one, Mahershala Ali is one of my favorite actors of all time, but 2, what a get for a guy who is a big side character, but a side character, you know what I mean?
But a big get as an actor to play him.
Big get. And what a great character.
Setting up.
So basically, Titan decides, okay, I'm going to team up with this Invincible guy because I work for this dude named Machine Head. I don't like Machine Head and what he's doing, okay? I don't like what he's doing in this town. Machine Head is played by Jeffrey Donovan, who I've met.
Jeffy Dons.
Love Jeffy Dons.
Fargo Season 2.
Also, Burn Notice. And also, let's not forget that this Machine Head, played by Jeffrey Donovan, has a hilarious auto-tune voice.
Oh, my God.
It is, because it's not too much. It could easily be too much. It's not. It's perfect.
It's when he chooses, and it's like usually to punctuate a point.
So basically, Mark teams up
You're
with
going
him.
to work for me.
And then you've got this Ion something played by Russ Hanneman from Silicon Valley with Chris.
Oh, really?
Diamantopoulos.
Yeah. God, Greek names.
Yeah, that's too much.
Mantzoukas took me long enough to figure out.
But yeah.
Diamantopoulos, I don't know. But it's that spelling.
Exactly. And so, yeah, basically Invincible and Titan team up, and because of this, Invincible misses.
Well, I like that he's playing that character now that because I didn't know that, because the other character he plays is a dude who's all upper lip. Only really discerning feature on his face. Otherwise, he looks like fucking Dilbert. Glasses with no eyes.
That's who he should play.
And he's super nervous. And I'm like, this is Russ Hanneman.
What
a full 180-degree turn for that actor to be the dude who's, the doors go like this.
Yeah, right.
No, the doors go like this. Not like this. Not like this.
But yeah, so we got him. We got Invincible teaming up to take these guys down, but that causes problems in the relationship, of course. No bueno, no good. Robot's off doing his own thing.
Well, it causes problems in his fucking entire bodily health.
Yeah.
Overall.
So he shows up. Him and Titan are like, we're going to go take down this Machine Head guy. They go in, and turns out Machine Head has hired quite a few big guns. And by big guns, yeah, there's a couple heavy hitters, and there's one really annoying guy with pink ribbons coming out of his chest that I didn't care for at all.
Yeah, he was pissing me off.
That guy was the Dengar of fucking badass rogue villains.
There you go, the Dengar.
I hated that dude. Fuck that. He's so, and the fact that he was like always a part of the fight was very annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pausing right here. I got a piss.
What are you talking about?
The official Avengers timeline confirms that the events of Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor all took place within the same week. This came to be known as Nick Fury's Big Week, which is also the name
of the Marvel comic book series. That's pretty.
Is that so?
That's what Instagram says.
I did not know that.
And it looks like
Nick Fury's Big Week. So Thor, Iron Man 2, and Hulk
all take place in the same week.
The same week.
That's pretty good. But it makes sense because, like, if you watch the movie, Iron Man 2 ends with the hammer, and also there's the footage being played of Incredible Hulk. So it's like, I get it. It lines up. Lines up to me.
Well, because I was watching this in this new timeline that you set up for me, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, these movies do take place in rapid fucking succession. And it was like we were talking about where it's like Captain Marvel happened in the 90s. And so he started creating the Avengers Initiative and all that stuff back then. He's been sitting for 20 years waiting for this to happen. And then in 1 week, three massive events happen. And he's just like, woo! Woo-wee, let's go.
And then a couple months later, Captain America woke up.
Like he's like, even
1, 2, 3,
fucking
4?
better.
What the fuck?
Does God exist and he's trying to get me to come or
I
what?
mean, God technically does exist. His name is fucking Thor, dude.
Oh my
can you imagine
God.
the seismic shift? But yeah, yeah.
Back to Invincible as
Back to
quickly as
Invincible.
we left it.
Anyway, so we've got all these guys showing up, and within this group of people showing up, just a quick shout out. There's a character named Battle Beast, who, if you're just watching it as a casual fan, you're like, oh, it's a lion with a mace. That's pretty dope. Like a
Yeah,
were
and he
lion.
seems to be doing cataclysmic damage
Oh.
to everybody he comes in contact with.
He fucks up
fucking-
Titan. He fucks up Invincible. Like
He
big
fucks
time.
up.
All that. So
who's
the
who's
Guardians
the-
show up.
Yeah, who's the Guardians? The black guy with
Samson,
The,
yeah.
Samson, that's his name. Okay, he fucks up him, and then fucks up Monster Girl,
Which are like the two
Like-
strongest on
yeah,
the Guardians.
Literally,
yeah.
just like smash her face off of her skull
Yeah. And
as she a monster.
just just obliterates Invincible's rib cage, and then is like, "This is boring," and leaves, and he's gone.
Imagine being so bored fighting people, just being like, "This is so easy."
He literally came in.
Like, I don't even feel that way playing with Jade in Mortal Kombat.
Right,
And I
right.
can fucking ruin people's days. People who've been on a streak online, I ruin their days with Jade.
Of course.
And I don't walk away being like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I go walking away like,
Ooh, yeah. Well, and so the theory is to comic fans, again, I've only seen this. One of my friends told me about it. I looked it up a little bit on the internet. Basically, apparently, this Battle Beast is like the Thanos level strength villain. So, like, it was like kind of a shout out to the fans to be like, look at this dude. What's this machine guy got in his head? Also, he's in the show for sure. And he's going to be back. And that, so Omni-Man kind of watches all this happen to Invincible and he doesn't come down. Is it because he knows if he fights this Battle Beast, he'll get fucked up? Maybe the one thing that can stop Omni-Man is a lion with a mace.
woo! I wish, dude. Like, because
really
he
good.
spent that whole episode, I know, right? Mango Mai Tai.
Mm-hmm.
BLS. You guys figure that one out. But back to it. Omni-Man, yeah. His entire drive that whole episode was to get Mark not to do this.
Yeah.
Not to.
Yeah.
And like, even before I spoiled it, that it's like he doesn't care about the micro, let alone the macro. He cares about just conquering, you know? So he's not even thinking like, oh, I'm a big picture superhero. And that's how he tried to sell it to Mark. He's like, we think big picture, okay?
Right.
You know, and Mark was raised a human. So of course he's going to think small picture because that's being a human. That's
Right.
being empathetic at least.
Yeah.
So Titan, you watch that whole episode and you're like, I like this guy. He's tragic. He's Sandman.
He cares about his
basically.
family. You know?
Yeah, I like this guy. Go worth him, Mark. You're rooting for him the whole time. And I mean, like, you even forgive that little joke where he's like puts Invincible with like cut out vowels and all that shit
Right.
on the roof. And he goes, yeah, you spelled that right. He goes, yeah, paint's expensive. I'm like, is it though? Is it though, Titan? And then he works his way through it. Fucking basically use Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe as pivot point maneuver tactics.
Yeah.
Like, it couldn't have been a happier accident for him that the Guardians showed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
yeah.
he slithered out.
Yeah, he got out of there, and they took care of the problem. They took care of Machine
Well,
Head.
Ion guy slithered him out.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Well, because, they were working together the whole time, and then sure enough, now Titan's wearing the big suit. He runs this fucking town, and I can't wait.
He's the kingpin.
He's the kingpin. And it's
kingpin with power.
very exciting, very cool stuff. Great episode. And then we have episode 6, which is a good one, but a slowdown. Let's not sugarcoat it here.
They go to a college visit with Zazie Bates and Andrew Rannells, who plays Matt, his best friend, who's for how sassy and gay he is. It's wild to me that he's a comic book nerd at the same time.
Sure,
You know, because
sure.
I mean, Andrew Rannells, I love him so much as an actor. My favorite thing that I've ever seen him do was a scene in Girls where he's mad and he's screaming into a closet at his friend. He goes, "Eat a dick!" and slams the door. But hearing it come out of Andrew Rannells' mouth with Andrew Rannells' voice, peak perfection.
Sure.
And then he's better known for Big Mouth, playing
the one,
Andrew,
the gay kid, yeah.
The gay kid Andrew. And doing that whole journey, and you love him for that. And then he comes in, and you're just like, well, I guess he's just going to be the gay friend.
Yep.
So,
typecast.
Yeah.
Equality and rules.
Hey, guy's getting work.
I mean,
the guy is getting work.
Not just getting work, he's getting good work.
You know what I want to see? Him and Billy Eichner do a buddy comedy.
Ooh, I'd watch that.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
I'd watch that. Yeah.
This is Straight Man and Billy Eichner, him being wacky, and then do like a road trip movie. Do a road trip movie. Randles and Eichner.
Billy Eichner as a straight man is a wacky straight man. You know what I mean?
The best straight man.
Like he's so angry and so
exactly.
over
Exactly.
the top.
Because what's a straight man other than somebody who negatively reacts to what the odd man does?
This is fair. This is a fair point.
Me,
I
could be as flamboyant. I could be loud. I could be just demonstrative. Just as long as you're the one who fires that.
Yeah. Put on your big boy pants.
Put on your big boy pants.
Wear with the belt.
I'm just so tired.
You're screaming and yelling all the time. It's like a Partners with the Hulk.
Exactly. The other guys, the perfect butter comedy. Butter comedy.
It's a great butter comedy too.
It's a great butter comedy.
So basically, you got Ezra Miller chopping up all these people on campus.
Here's how you break it down. Douchey frat guy, played by Justin Roiland.
Yep.
Justin Roiland
sounded like Morty with Rick's burps. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Hey man, my dad owns the school wing of this school, man. Like, why don't you girls want to fuck me? And then he gets fucking stolen and
turned into a cyborg.
And it was
vicious cyborg,
a strong cyborg.
Yeah,
and
we'll get to that in a second.
It just kind of becomes a little side tangent adventure.
Yeah, it's a Mark episode, which I love these Mark episodes, but like compared to the Mark and Omni-Man things, it's just like, oh my God,
it's the one time that I wish it was more focused on Mark and Amber, and rather this thing was a jump rather than a creep.
Yeah, because basically,
where it's just like all of a sudden, like they could have it be played out that, oh, these people have gone missing. These students have been going missing. Like, where are they? Do they drop out? And like they just sort of go, aha, maybe I shouldn't come here next year. Kind of make it a joke, and then all of a sudden,
right
from the ground, all these cyborgs show up. Invincible has a strikeout, but Mark, actually, never mind. Delete all that, because that was the whole point, was that Mark was so trying to be like, this is my redemptive weekend.
Yeah.
Where there's no invincible bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no invincible bullshit.
Amber is mad at him. She wants to break up with him. Yeah. It's bad. And basically one of the robots gets released. All this shit is going down. All these things are happening. Mark kind of sneaks away. Invincible comes in, almost gets beat by the fucking thing, but it eventually ends up killing itself. And Amber is very angry at him because he just disappeared. He just poof, gone. Hey, what's wrong with you? And then he's in the doghouse from then on out. Yeah.
Okay. Recentering to that end. That's what he's been doing this whole time. She's known, at least up until this point, she's known that he's invincible. And so, why is she mad that he's going off and sneaking off to do Invincible when she never cornered him right away to be like, just fucking quit it. Cut the bullshit.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, is that because that's what she says in the next episode, basically, is that, I know you're invincible. Like, duh, obviously. Why didn't you tell me? I just wish you would have told me. I'm mad because you didn't tell me. You didn't trust me enough to tell. And I was thinking about that, especially with this Adam Eve thing, because that's what she says. Is she's basically like, tell her if she means that much to you. And he kind of thinks about it, and then he decides not to, and then he keeps this thing going. And it's kind of like, this is where I could already see him definitely picking Adam Eve over Amber.
That was the whole point. If he really did want to put the effort in, he wouldn't have helped Titan.
Because think about the number. I mean, there's so many relationships in this world where it's somebody who's like, I really like you, and you're really hot, and I like being with you, and like we have a good time. But like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you everything about me. No. But like, what is a relationship other than telling someone everything about you? You know what I mean? Like, again, I don't. It's just they're doing a great job with the show. They're doing a really good job.
They're doing a great job. Even when we second guess the show, it's got the freaking Teflon behind it.
Flips us
that's
back.
something that's like not seen in a lot of shit. Where it's like, wait a second, and then you go, oh wait, but yeah.
And so the episode ends pretty emotionally, but pretty well. William's guy that he went up to see there gets kidnapped, becomes the robot.
I thought his name was Matt. Matt was the dude he was into.
William is the character. Yes. William is the character. Matt was the guy he was into. Gotcha. Matt gets captured. Matt gets turned into cyborg. Invincible has to fight him. Big old fight. Long story short, they take Ezra Miller's character down, but not without William being like, well, what the fuck just happened in my life
one
here?
Guy who's hot and awesome. I can't get laugh.
And now he also knows that Mark is invincible. That's another very important part of that episode. But long story short, come home. Amber's mad. Things are bad. Episode 7, this is where shit gets real. So
shit gets really real. Because meanwhile, all the way through this, Damien Darkblood and Debbie are doing their own investigative research. Cecil takes Damien down and sends him back to hell with a curse. Debbie still continues to search. She finds Omni-Man's suit, brings it to Mark Hamill, Art, and he does an analysis of it, and he goes, this is the oldest blood on the suit, which was
on the fists.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's like, this
yeah,
blood is
from when he
oldest.
crushed Red Rush's head, because that was the first dude he targeted outside of the Immortal.
And he's like, that means that Omni-Man struck first.
Yeah. And so it was just blatantly clear to them. And then Debbie has this whole, like, if she didn't decide to get wine drunk, could have been more coyly played, more strategically played, but the emotions welled up that she had to get drunk to pacify it, and that ended up blowing everything up. She knows, and Omni-Man knows she knows now, because she just straight up admitted, why did you kill them? They were your friends. They were our friends. Blah, blah, blah. And all he does is punch a hole in the wall and leave.
Yep. Well, he's got a plan.
He's got a plan.
He's got some stuff going. So, and also I think in that episode is where Robot makes the full transformation.
He switches over to the
Rudy, with the clone guys.
Yeah, the body that he cloned from Rex, from the Mahler twins, which never stopped getting old to me, because one, I will never get tired of Kevin Michael Richardson.
Nah, he's the perfect animation
He's
voice.
so great.
Perfect, yeah.
I'm honestly kind of mad that they cast Angus Sampson to play Goro in this new Mortal Kombat over him, because he's Goro. He played Goro in the animated one, in the original one. He's Goro. He's just got that really guttural. He's got that He's got a Clancy Brown voice with an even more darker tone. Like Clancy Brown played Damien Darkblood. He played the Mahler twins, and I'm like, wait, is Clancy playing both of them, or are we getting? No, we got both. Both of the bass voice guys, and I love them. I love it that they have musical cues to run the jewels, and like I pitched you the other day, oh man, if they could just have LP and Killer Mike come in to the booth and they blend their voices together, Vegeta style or Vegeto style, Gogeta style, if you want to go Dragon Ball Z with it, because anytime a character in those shows fuse together, they have the actors literally like blend the voices together. So like if you had Killer Mike and LP playing those guys, well, that'd be the only thing to get better than Kevin Michael Richardson performance. Exactly. But yeah, so we got Robot transferred into Rudy.
And he shows up.
Rudy!
It's weird. Save Monster Girl, obviously, and then hold hands with Monster Girl.
We immediately shows up. Everyone's upset. Rex is really upset. He's like, why did you pick my face?
He ruined my childhood.
You're ruining my childhood again. It was already ruined. You're ruining it again. I'm Jason Mantzoukas. I get really upset.
Oh, and also Samson got his powers back after
getting fucking almost killed.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't need a suit to amplify shit.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
So the Guardians are doing good. They're doing their thing. They're weird. Let's have some fun with these characters. I bet you they're gonna have a much bigger part in the next season, because I bet you Invincible becomes part of their team. And then him and Adam Eve, and then that causes all sorts of things. Anyway, episode 7. Basic rundown. What do we got going on? We've got Mark trying to talk to Amber. We got Amber saying, nah, yeah, you didn't trust me with the information. We're done, right? We're done. Mark's like, shit, all right, whatever. You've got, obviously Rudy getting introduced to the team and the team not responding incredibly well. You've got...
until 10 minutes later when Omni-Man starts fucking popping off. And then she's like, oh, this creepy gesture you made towards my romance. Like, she even called him straight out. He's like, why did you pick me?
Yeah.
He's like, well...
Because you seem to have a connection.
Yeah, you piqued her interest, and she started. He did it for me, and then he goes, "What are you talking about?" Well, I noticed that she seemed to take interest in you, so I wanted to be that guy. And Omni-Man just totally fucking took the attention away from how creepy that worked, and then not only. Was it creepy? It worked.
It worked.
Monster Girl is totally on board.
Loves it.
Totally on board.
We got a robot and a monster. Deeply in love with each other.
Totally.
Deeply.
Let's go.
So yeah, we got Omni-Man. I forget what sets. Oh, he talks to costume guy. Art. Yeah. Art. That gets real. That gets intense. Long story short, he's found out. Cecil's after him. And he goes through this whole experience where he's flying, shoot him with lasers. No,
well, Mark goes to see Adam.
Right.
Adam Eve before.
Right, after Amber breaks up with him.
Because she's been out in the woods, being the freaking green goddess, basically. Mm-hmm. Totally taking care of all the chipmunks and Omni-Man. It's so great how that episode description was where it's like, Mark needs some time for himself at the time where everyone is looking for him. His mom, Cecil, the teen team, and Omni-Man.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I don't want to do this.
But I don't like being a superhero if this is going to be so hard with Amber. And then Eve. But on the way to finding him, Omni-Man is blasted by a satellite that levels miles of the forest. And I was like, oh, that's going to be what's going to trigger Mark and Eve. No. It was forest way further outside of her jurisdiction.
Yeah. Not paying attention to that at all.
So why even show the close-up of the chipmunks and the squirrels running away and getting wiped out by the fire?
Yeah, just
why
for
even
violence.
do that?
I mean, so much of this show really is
like
violence
I thought it
for
was
violence's
for a point.
sake.
Yeah. Some of it, for sure.
And not in a negative, prudy way, this is just violence. No, it's just violent because life is violent. You know what I mean? That's what would happen.
It seems to be Rob Kirkman's tone where it's like, life is fleeting. How about I show you how fleeting?
Yeah.
Very often.
How about we dive into that? Yeah. So then, Omni-Man's going on, beat up by the robots that are, Ezra Miller's now working for Cecil.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel good about it. He doesn't like it, but he's got to do it.
He still manages to get through them.
But the robot, the cyborgs do some serious damage to Omni-Man, or at least, enough that it's
enough
noticeable.
Stoppage time.
Right. And then, of course, Cecil goes to the Hail Mary, which is the kaiju that Omni-Man had defeated earlier in the season.
With upgrades.
With upgrades, yeah, big time.
Upgrades and vengeance.
Yeah, it was a Gorilla Cthulhu is what it was. And
a Gorilla Cthulhu?
It was great. I loved it.
A Torilla.
And that thing is fucking up Omni-Man. But then Mark comes to save his dad. And that's a mistake. That doesn't help.
He ends up getting a little bit more fucked up than he should have been by the Cthulhu.
Yeah.
The Cthulhu.
Now, meanwhile, the clones are working on reviving the Immortal, who, as we said, it was Abraham Lincoln and so many other great people, and they want to control him, and he immediately isn't about that. He immediately wakes up and is like, Omni-Man! And he goes after him.
Yeah, that control collar that Robot gave him schematics for was not strong enough for the Immortal.
Didn't work at all.
I mean, it might have worked on anyone but
the
Immortal.
And so he flies away. He goes to fight Omni-Man. They fight again. Of course, Omni-Man kicks his ass. I mean, he tries to pop his eyes. He throws some punches.
Most damage he did was putting his thumbs in his eyes, but then Omni-Man just punches right through him after literally just karate chopping his head off in the first episode.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is nothing to me,
This guy's really,
man.
I just hate that I have to fight this guy again.
Yeah.
How
about I just really settle this?
Yeah.
Punch through the chest, chop you in half.
Yep. And Mark sees all of this.
Yeah.
And so does Deborah, and so does Cecil, and so does everybody.
And then boom, end of episode 7.
Yep, Mark, we got to talk.
Not even a mid-credit, post-credit scene. None of that.
It's the opposite of the Marvel shows. They save those for the last 2 episodes. fucking Invincible just gets rid of him in the last 2 episodes.
And then this one, it opens up with, it shows a little bit of grass and then blood rain falling, and then bam, the Immortal's top half lands in front of it. And then Mark goes, and then immediately attacks his dad. Somebody's controlling you. Who's controlling you? What's happening? Why is this happening? And he goes, Mark. Like he's getting punched left and right. Mark,
stop. You gotta listen to me, okay?
This is me. This is all me.
And so, yeah, as you alluded to, it's exactly like the comics. Omni-Man goes forward and beats the fuck out of Mark. I mean, bad.
Within an inch of his life.
For like 30 minutes. I mean, just whoops up on his son big time. And the message he's pretty much giving throughout it, Voltron, we're superior, we're better. You're going to live for thousands of years. These people's life is fleeting. What's the point? What are you doing all this for? This is a waste of time. When are you going to finally figure this out? Look at, I mean, like Sam said, he's sticking his literally sticks him in front of a train and uses him to rip through the train and kill the people. He throws him through multiple buildings.
He uses his face as a murder weapon. Puts his face through these people's bodies. Yeah. And Mark's trying to put his hands up. And that's just causing more damage.
Way more damage, yeah.
Just turning them all into hamburger meat. He put his face through the ground, caused the train to flip over, wiped out the whole station.
Yep. And throws him across the world, punches him so hard that he breaks a mountain and causes an avalanche, and then throws him in the side of the mountain, beats the fuck out of him. And it's just basically, why?
Why did you make me do this?
Yeah. So he has a memory of, as we mentioned, strike, home run, or, home run for Mark. And Omni-Man's like, oh, my dad. Because at first he's like, why watch this stupid game? There's so much more I could be doing.
And what Debbie said to him was like, it's about the children. It's that our experience is now fleeting. Our enjoyment is through there.
Yeah.
And so he really disconnected from being a Viltrumite for a second, saw Mark's eyes, saw Mark's excitement, saw his determination, and when he whacked that infield home run and got the safe at the home plate, he was bought in. He was bought into being a human.
He loved it. He goes, "Yeah, son, I saw." Because Mark's like, "Dad, did you see?" He's like, "Yeah, son, I saw."
Yeah,
and
which
then
was kind of world shattering for him because at that point in the marriage, he's like, "I'm just undercover.
Yeah. I just kept thinking throughout that.
Mark?
Because I watched it the second time with you today, and I was watching it this time, thinking, obviously, Kevbo could never do such a thing. Maybe. We'll see. But, I'm imagining...
He's got the mustache for it.
I'm imagining my dad doing that and being like, holy fuck. What would that do to me? That would ruin me. You know what I mean? It'd be so crazy. And, Mark's going through that. But also, on the flip side of that coin, he goes, what are you doing? You're 500 years. What are any of these? What are you going to have? All these people are going to be dead, ashes. This world's going to be gone. And he's like, I'll have you, Dad. I'll always have you. And then that is what gets Omni-Man just to be like, fuck you. Why'd you make me do this? And then he flies away and he's crying and it's the whole thing. And then
tears frozen in space.
Very sad. What will happen? Basically, there's a good chunk of the rest of the episode left, but it's all wrapping things up. Amber and Mark get back together. She seems to have come around and understood the gravity.
After watching him in front of the world get demolished by his father.
Well, that's one thing. We said this while the show was happening. We should say it again. Omni-Man mentions, he's like, what's 17 more years, have another kid. And it's like, well, you just revealed to the world that you're a villain. You just showed everyone you're true to. You can't have another human child. You can't do it. No, but a lady's just not going to be like, oh, yeah, let's have a baby.
The only way he could do that is if he came back looking like J.K. Simmons now. With bald head, scruff.
Yeah.
Chilling.
It's the only way. And
then just talking the same way. Mark 2.
Mark 2.
You're Mark 2.
Mark 2. Very proud of you, Mark 2.
Mark 2.
But yeah, so
Tank 2.
What else happens? The Guardians of the Globe work together as a team. They wipe off the blood left by the last Guardians when Omni-Man killed them. You've got Battle Beast in some ship. You've got the Martians getting attacked by the.
Well, they jumped in there to help with the rubble.
Well, yeah, they came in, they helped with the rubble, yep. And then that's where they kind of came together once they got back in the room and started wiping off the blood. And Samson was like, no, it's not time. And then everybody was like, fuck off. And he was like, nice job.
Nice. We got a team.
And just a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon, that's what I kind of love about this episode. The last half was all kind of set up for the next couple seasons. Mm-hmm. And not only set up of this is where the story's going to go. This is all the things we can do. These are the characters we have.
The Baller twins, robot, Mars.
Yep.
And
fucking Titan, Battle Beast.
and then the closing scene.
Oh,
Closing scene.
how could we forget?
Like, we hear a message from Cecil, and he's like, somebody coming back into Earth, or like coming back towards Earth. And I'm like, be Seth Rogen, be Seth Rogen, be Seth Rogen, be Seth Rogen. Because in the whole, backstory of Viltrum and all the Viltrumites and stuff, which I told you during the episode, I'm like, I've taken a real issue that they've called themselves Viltrumites. Like, mite. To me, that suffix for the word just automatically jumps to termite or, stalagmites, which stalactites are the ones who stick to the ceiling. Stalagmites are the ones growing up from the ground. So in a way, it's just something that's infiltrating, something that's an invasive species.
Yep.
Boom. Freaking, that's why I did not have a good feeling of when he's like, we're Viltrumites, son. I'm like, Viltrumites, what you're landing on? Well, no, he got a plan
The
for
Latin roots of that word don't feel good.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like suffixes. This is where my 32 ACT in English comes in, where I'm like, hey, now.
Something fucked up there.
Let me dissect the etymology. But yeah, so once that happened, now I just want to see what they're going to do, because they're going to take tangents. They're going to do their own creative liberties, because this is an adaptation. This isn't the original work. Why would we want to see the original work just straight up put as a screen, unless it's Watchmen?
Yeah. Well, and real quick to the point of the Seth Rogen, Alan the alien showing up again. Basically, he kind of asks Mark to be part of the coalition of planets, right? So like clearly this is about to get real cosmic too, which again just opens so many doors. And like if I'm Robert Kirkman, I'm going like, what opportunities did I miss doing?
There's a coalition of planets.
Yeah, well, that's why he showed up in the first place.
Because I mean, like I was just saying, like, oh yeah, there was that one cutaway while we were watching it. I'm like, there was that one cutaway of those dudes who looked like Alan.
Yeah,
that makes total sense. So it's like these people who are refugees, basically, from Viltrumite conquest.
Yeah, that are like kind of a Star Trek type world.
Yeah, creating a freaking coalition.
Yeah.
To defeat the Viltrumites. And that's the thing that I wrapping it back around from the beginning, once we learned about the Viltrumites and all that stuff, is like, imagine if Krypton wasn't destroyed and Superman wasn't ancient, and we have an army of Supermen out there lying in wait.
Yeah, coming for you.
What's
going out of their way to take your world?
Down an army of Omni-Men.
Based on what we have in front of us, I can't imagine anything.
Yeah, and whatever that little illusion you saw, that panel you saw with, what was it?
Like Omni-Man, Battle Beast, Invincible, fucking Alan the Alien, all these guys.
Sitting in a cockpit together.
Yeah.
Looking the same direction.
Yeah.
What's the goal?
Having a chat shit, as Dane Cook would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chat shitting on the way to a similar goal.
Who knows?
If
I'm
fucking
Robert Kirkman, I'm saying, here's the things I missed. Here are the opportunities I missed in the comics. Here's what worked in the comics. We're going to keep this true, and we're going to do this stuff.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so great that, comics, they can have that free-flowing stuff, but they don't have the grounding of a writer's room. It's one guy.
Yeah.
It's one guy in charge of it. So if you see stuff as lacking that was built upon in the show, it's okay.
Yep.
Don't fault the guy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm going back to reading the Preacher comics. And Preacher. So, like, all that, I'm like, okay, so, well, the way they shifted it around in the show elevated it as a work. I love what, wild shit Garth Ennis came up with for it that wasn't in the show, that just couldn't be in the show, like a serial killer who cuts people's faces off and then turns them upside down and nails them to their skulls. Yeah, not going to put that in the show, Ugh. Literally, you just whap. So, but everything else that the show did, it was like, you gave us a skeleton, let's put it in a new body.
Yeah.
Basically, that's how I wanted to break this down reductively without being disrespectful. The skeleton from this, The Boys, and Preacher. The skeletons were so fucking good. Let's put them in some new muscle bodies.
Yeah. Let's throw some muscle and a little extra on there,
Yeah,
Let's give them a nice set of clothes,
Yeah.
Get them a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not 2% fat. They're about 6% fat.
That's
you know,
right.
it's comfortable.
I love it, man. Yeah, this one I really give 10 out of 10.
Same.
This is just like a fun, like, oh, I love it in
It
spirit.
was unexpected too,
Yeah.
because when it dropped, because I knew it was coming out, when it dropped, I was like, it's animated.
Sure.
Now I'm glad it's animated.
Me too. It has to be.
I'm glad it's
It
animated.
can only be animated. Yeah.
It really can be. So much to the future. Much to the future. Tune in to episode 100, even though this comes out after episode 100. But if you're watching, just like you're a DMT reviews fan,
Yeah.
tune in to episode 100
Check it out.
of
gonna be
DMT
crazy.
reviews, because it's going to be a batch, because from here on out, it's only going to get drunkier.
Yeah, right.
We're a little buzzed. We've been talking a mile a minute. At least I have. But with that, we were able to review an entire season of a show with real deep fucking shit.
Yeah. We didn't even scratch the surface. Go watch this show.
Less
if you
than 2
haven't.
hours.
Yeah.
So, guys, wait. That's it. You got this. I got this. Guys, like, rate, review, subscribe. DMT Studios on YouTube. DMT PCast on Instagram and Gmail. And I just really got into the song.
I know, me too.
The beat. Can we have Run the Jewels make a theme song?
the
Can
goal,
can
dude.
we hire Killer Mike for a cameo?
I'm
I want
working
to
on
try
it.
and do that.
I'm trying, dude. I'm working
Either
on it.
that or Snoop Dogg saying, "What's up? What's happening?"
That'd be pretty cool.
Like a custom. What's up? What's happening?
What's up,
It's
what's happening?
DMT
It's
motherfucking
DMT.
podcast. That would be great.
Maybe someday.
But keep tuning in. We love you guys, and take it sleazy, Mayor McCheesy.
Love you guys.